Hey, True Believers, Chris Mack coming at you too with Generation X issue 21. And this was a fun read. Every time I dive into Generation X, I forget how much fun that this comic is, while also touching on some serious points. This one in particular just kind of has Beast, I guess, proctoring an exam here at the Massachusetts branch of Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. And I love the back and forth that he has with Jubilee here. So first off, the print date on this was November 1996. Pages are all benty bent. And you just see Jubilee doodling, and Beast goes, Ms. Lee, just so we're clear on a fundamental point. You do realize the entire reason you're enrolled here at Xavier is to learn how to use your mutant abilities to their fullest potential. Excellent. And you do understand that I, everyone's favorite PhD holding beast, better known in the hallowed halls of academia as Dr. Henry McCoy, came all the way from Westchester to administer this particular exam. Splendid. You're also aware that despite your extended experience with the X-Men, it's important that you pass this midterm? Grand. Finally, I'm sure you can see the wisdom when I point out you'd be better off actually attempting to answer the questions instead of doodling. Cool. So even though Beast gently scalds her, she's still doodling. And I like how it says, Earth Girl, I got your splendid right here. And then Beast just kind of watching everybody goes, kids, were Bobby, Scott, Warren, Jean, and I ever this young? This green? And he kind of has to, he's in his mind assessing each of them. Like with Everett, he goes, I wonder if he has any inkling of how powerful he's going to be someday. And then Mondo, psst, Mondo, psst. And then Monette. If you remember, Monette has an attitude, and she's very much a prodigy. And he says, let me guess, Miss St. Crux. 4 minutes in and you're finished? Oui. May I be excused? No. Patience is a virtue. And it's just a fun way to, bring everybody, kind of give everybody an idea of each character's traits. And then all of a sudden, meanwhile, on the other side of the continental United States, his name is Howard. He's a duck. And just the artwork for him here, he's a truck driver at this point, which makes no sense. If you guys kind of know continuity in his books, why he's a truck driver, because in the last issue when he picks up Skin and Chamber, they're hitchhiking across the U.S. to get back to L.A., and Howard's like, get in, and they're like, you're a duck. So what? You got a problem with that? And then I guess they're making a pit stop, and he goes, what's the deal? Who does a guy have to pluck to get a drink around here? And I guess they end up in some sort of biker bar, and this is to live and die in Molten, L.A. And he is face-to-face with this biker dude, and he goes, we've got a problem, you big hairless ape, because they're saying we don't serve ducks. Because I make it a policy never to drink at seedy dive watering holes that don't serve ducks. Ipso facto, Godzilla, you're going to have to change your role. Now, before we get any further into it, and one thing that I will say is I do kind of have a love-hate relationship with Chris Bachalo's artwork. But I don't know, for Generation X and then the Age of Apocalypse Generation Next, it just added. I don't know how, I can't explain it. But his style back in the day just really added to this book. Maybe at the time it just had that 90s grunge look to it. So here it's a bunch of guys who will be available real soon to work on the US 1 revival. Scott Liddell, Chris Bachalo, Joe Pimentel, Richard Starkings, and Comic Craft lettering, the Buka colors, Mark Powers, associate editor, Bob Harris, chief, and then I'm not sure who Mark Grunewald was, so if you all know, let me know, because they say in memory of him and dearly missed, which was really sweet. Now, Howard, I forget that, he can be a badass. He goes, I'm a board-certified master of quack fu. Cringe a little bit, but it's still funny. And even after all that, This guy says, we have a problem with ducks and muties. Really? Then you're about to have a really bad day. Why do you say that? Because of me, governor. Answer our questions, no one gets hurt. Much. And I've always loved Chamber. I'm so freaking excited that Hasbro's finally released a Marvel Legends version of him and M. I just wish we could get the whole Generation Next or X team and then an Age of Apocalypse version, because to have like a Husk version, oh, that would be the bomb. But here, let me look at this. You just see the full-on power of Jonathan Starmore, and you know he's not going to take any crap. And while all this is happening, the whole reason that they're hitchhiking is Skin's trying to get back home to L.A. And here he goes, with amigos like this. Oh, who am I kidding? I should be fighting my own fight. Instead, I'm letting Jono and Howard, a duck who gave us a ride to L.A., run interference on me with Torres' posse. And he says the whole reason that he's back in L.A. is because of family. And the whole, like, friendship between Skin and Chamber really made this book, because it kind of reminds you of like a buddy cop thing, because they grind on each other, but they work well together. Now here you find a revelations about about Skin and why he wanted to come back to LA, which I'm not gonna spoil here. I want you guys to read the book. But this whole scene here with this woman mourning over someone's grave and talking to this old man, it's a very sweet and emotional scene. Same thing with where is it? I know they gotta jump back and forth between plots. We'll come back in a second, but I gotta find here with this Torres character. You find out that she's not, she's a seedy character, but at the same time, she does kind of have a heart. Now, before we go back into that, there's also a revelation about M, because she just completely spaces out. And I guess up to this issue, she's been doing that. And Banshee and Ms. Frost, Emma Frost, can't figure out what the deal is. And Beast kind of makes a quick assessment about it, because he says no one rips up their, their exam and then just builds an elaborate, complex origami house out of it. So there's not like a whole lot of like action or stuff that you're used to an X-Men book with this. However, the moments with Howard in Chamber is absolutely astounding. There's some great emotional moments with Skin. And even though he has this past and how he refuses to share it with his quote-unquote best friend, and then you start to learn more about Monette St. Croix, which is really interesting. All this and more in Generation X 21. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and grab a copy. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little quack foo bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to build content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.